Hi, this is Elise for the lily pad. I'm gonna start apologizing because the dogs are going a little bit crazy, but I wanted to record this. A couple questions have come with one of the mock challenges about Vellum, and I wanted to show a different way on how to work on the shadows. Okay, here I have applied a really small shadow to my elements. In this case, actually, it's super tiny. I apply the same one. There are 3 different vellum elements here on top of my paper. I'm going to start with this pink one because, as you can see, even though it's transparent, what happens when I take the effect out? Yeah, even though it's transparent, it doesn't have any other like real clear, but a transparent pink. So what I would do is I would put my my regular shadow, and then I would go to here to the effects, and I would say create layer. What I am doing is I am separating the shadow from the element. Now what I would do is I would grab my magic wand tool right here, and I would click around the element. You see how I clicked around the element with the element selected, not the shadow but the element. Now everything that is not the element is selected. So what I want actually is just the element to be selected. So I'm going to do Command Shift I, which is invert, and now I have my element selected. Now that I have my element selected, I'm going to select the shadow layer. I'm going to go and I'm going to do a right click, and I'm going to say layer via cut. Now what happened is now I have my element layer. Okay, let me turn it all off. I have my element layer, I have my shadow layer, and I have this little sliver, which is really what comes beyond the element as a shadow. So let me put it. So if I put that, you still see, did you notice that my pink hasn't changed in color? I just have added a shadow, and you can leave it here, and you can be happy with this, and you can delete this extra light layer of shadow, but you could actually go to activate that big shadow layer and just remove the opacity. Like almost remove it. You see how I'm just adding a little bit, because that would be more realistic. Even if you have a vellum, it's not completely clear, so you still have a little bit of the weight of the shadow, but not something that it's going to make it that dark. Does that make sense? Okay. You could also apply change your blending modes if you can in your program to something like linear light, because that would make it a little lighter. Okay, but that's for the pink, for that little. So right now I'm gonna leave it just like that, kind of like it like that. I don't know, more or less the same, but a little bit brighter. Now let's do the bicycle here. So some people, you could either again select the bicycle and select around the bicycle, right? So I'm going to show you 2 different things, because in this case you do have a little bit of clear vellum around the image. So I'm going to show you how to deal with that. You can do the same thing we did the pink circle, which is click with your magic wand outside your element while your element layer is selected, and do Command Shift Inverse or Control Shift I in your PC. And then I'm going to go there, I'm going to right click, I'm going to say, in this case, I got layer via copy and not layer via cut. And sometimes it does that. you could do that. Copy and then, oh, sorry. You know why I got that? And it's my error. I never created a layer from the shadow. So now that I'm in the shadow layer, I can do right click and I do layer via cut. Okay. And again, if I remove the big layer, you're going to have your white and you have that little sliver of shadow. That's probably what you want, but you can go back to the big layer and just, so that's too dark, right? So but you could go halfway there. Kind of gives you a more sense of the piece of vellum is there. See? Okay. Another thing that you could do with this one, since it does have a an area that it is transparent, and now we're treating it all the same, is that I'm going to remove this. I'm going to apply and just remove it both layers of the shadow. I'm going to go apply my shadow again, and instead of that, I'm going to actually command click on my object. So I was in my layer of the bicycle and I command click the bicycle, right? You can create, you can take, I divided the shadow, create layer of the shadow. Now I'm going to move to the shadow layer, right? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do layer cut. Now that layer looks a little bit different than the layer that you had before when we just did magic wand outside. So here, now you could, same thing, work with the opacity, but the difference is that here you're going to have a darker color where there is a color in the bicycle, and then lighter color where it's clear, because that is how it's going to work, because it's selected, did you notice with the ants, it selected every teeny tiny piece of different gradients, okay? So you could do that, and that's done. Now, I have left this guy till the end, because, again, you could do the same thing. You can grab outside, Command Shift Inverse, and then create layer, and then do cut and remove this and just leave that little sliver. But in reality, that you make me happy when skies are great, the text, since it has a color, because it has white, it is going to create a shadow. So I would go back to making this one and just turning it down a little bit. See? It's just a little bit. But can you see the like shadow that it creates under the text? Same thing could be done on this one, which is Command or Control and oops on the object. And if you notice here, it only grabs the text. So I wanted to show you this. If this happens, do not freak out. So you could still apply a text. I'm sorry, apply a shadow here. Can't find my shadow there. And if this ever happens to you, and even if you're clicking outside, it's still just clicking some of the area. In this case, since it's a card, I would zoom in, grab my rectangular marquee, my super helpful rectangular marquee. I'm so sorry, my mouse is super sensitive, so I'm trying to make it a tiny bit bigger, and it's just going ballistic. Okay. In Photoshop CC, you get these lines when you are exactly at the same position as the element. So I know I did good with that one. So I know I have 3, 4. This is my 4. And again, I would create layer on the shadow, and then here I would come right click, whoops, and cut. Same thing. Then you can reduce the opacity of it. Okay, so that's my little trick for you guys if you're working on a vellum object. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, just let me know. This is Dalis for the Lily Pad. DALIS. You can even send me a PM. Okay.